Testing 1 2, test test test. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2, Jesus. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test. 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 Is that as loud as I can get? Well, it's not as loud as I can get, but we can get a bit louder. Adding some gain here. You can hear my voice a bit clearer without everything going out of control. Threshold. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test 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 test. Testing. Testing. All right. Testing. Ooh, too high. Testing. Testing. 1 2 3. Coming in a little bit peaking. All right. So I was ordered to do this, so I'm gonna do that. This is for a different thing. It's for Google. So I'm gonna log in. We're gonna get some shit done. So far it's an anger management class that lasts about 4 hours, started today. Only got about a minute and 50, but this is just from nalearning.org, North American Learning Institute. So let's go. Continue to the anger management class. So this is for my info only. Y'all don't need to really know this, but that's when I was born. Okay. So, what is anger? Anger is defined as a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. The first thing to understand is that anger is normal. Anger is a reaction that to something you are feeling and is not planned. It cannot be avoided. That's why this course is not called an anger elimination course, but rather an anger management course. It is an emotion that is experienced by all and can be helpful and sometimes necessary emotion. Anger is a state that is temporary and does not last forever. More anger than ever. You may be that's my son in the background. You may have noticed that there seems to be more angry people than ever before. You can see this when watching the news or when reading the comment section of almost any blog or online news story. Furthermore, more and more people are expressing their anger with violence, and violence is all around us in movies, TV shows, and video games, the workplace, home, schools, public places, etc. There is so much violence that it sometimes feels normal. In the US, millions of people have a difficult time managing their anger. Is anger bad? Everyone has feelings, and the fact that one feels angry is not a bad thing in and of itself. Anger is not necessarily a bad emotion. Anger can actually be a very healthy feeling to experience and can alert us to dangers and facilitate what may be necessary responses. However, anger can be quite bad. If anger goes unidentified and uncontrolled, it can destroy personal relationships, cause termination of employment, and tear families apart. Many people may improperly utilize anger to express themselves and to get what they want. Showing your anger can be a powerful and destructive approach to communication if it is used this way. During this course, we will not focus on how to avoid being angry. Instead, we'll focus on being aware of your angry feelings. Understand why you feel this way, and then decide how you will choose to respond. Hello, my name is Andrew, and I have an anger problem, or Cleo. As cliche as this sounds, the first step is admitting that you may have a problem with controlling your anger and possibly violent behavior. Once you have accepted that you have a problem, then you are ready to begin working to improve it. This does not mean that you have to announce to your friends or family that you have an anger issue, or share this to a group of complete strangers with the same issue. However, it is imperative that you be honest with yourself and identify that you have an anger problem. If you are unable to do this, the problem will not be effective. The program will not be effective. Jeez. The high cost of not managing your anger. One way to look at the importance of managing your anger is to consider if it is easier to change your behavior or repair relationships. Once you have acted in an angry way toward another, it may be difficult to repair your relationship. It is likely much easier to stick to an anger management plan and work to change how you respond to be more appropriate, than to attempt to mend a damaged relationship. Is this a quick fix? The short answer is no. Managing your anger takes much focus, reflection, and determination. Simply completing this course will not solve your anger problems. Anger can be managed by understanding your feelings and following specific processes that we will outline throughout this program. If you take the time to read the material provided in this program, apply the techniques to your life, and move forward with a commitment to improving your anger problems, you can make tremendous self-improvements. This is no simple task, but can be very rewarding if you stick to it. You will encounter certain situations that will seem easier after implementing the techniques in this program, and there will be other times that it may be extremely difficult. You don't know why I'm angry. You're right. Only you know why you have angry feelings and why you react the way you do. This program is not meant to solve your specific problems. The program is instead intended to help you understand proven strategies for how to identify and classify your feelings, and provide suggestions and a framework for how to react in a way that you have carefully considered. Anger awareness. In the last section, we learned about what anger is. Now we can attempt to apply that knowledge to our own thoughts and feelings so that we can be more aware of our anger. This begins with general self-awareness. How do others see me? Have you received feedback from coworkers, friends, roommates, or family about your reactions to certain situations? Were you surprised by their comments? You know yourself better than anyone, right? Well, because you're accustomed to your own behaviors, it may be difficult to identify when your reactions seem to be angry to others. It can be difficult to hear. But listen to what others are telling you about your behavior. They're likely giving you this feedback because they care about you and want you to change for the better, or at least be aware of how they perceive your behavior. You can change. The good news is that no one but yourself causes you to react in an angry manner. You are now in control of how you respond to situations, and no one else. It's easy for you to blame others for how you react to particular situations because they frustrate you. It is also common to hear people indicate that they were mad or angry because of something that happened. Just because something bad or disappointing happened doesn't mean that an angry reaction is warranted. Self-awareness. Coming to terms with the fact that you need to change your behavior can be one of the hardest parts of managing your anger. We can become conscious of ourselves through developing self-awareness. Oh, I gotta turn this on. Okay. Self-awareness is the ability to be aware of your own self. This can be more difficult than it sounds, especially when attempting to make yourself aware of angry experiences in the moment. Later in the course, we will introduce you to the concept of using an anger journal, which can be an effective way at analyzing the past. The more difficult approach is to work to identify your anger in real time and make a decision about how best to respond. Many times we respond to certain situations without fully understanding and analyzing what we're about to do. Becoming more self-aware requires desire and concentration. You must force yourself to think about things through in detail rather than simply letting things happen. The third-party perspective. When one has reached the ultimate level of awareness, one is able to view things not only from their own perspective, but also from the potential perspective of others. An individual would also be able to place themselves in someone else's shoes and understand how they are doing is seen and interpreted by others. And that can be very difficult while experiencing certain emotions, awareness, and decisions. It seems common sense that if you're unaware of what's happening around you and how you're responding, then things will just happen automatically. The natural response to anger is aggressive behavior. You can change this by becoming more aware of your thoughts. Concentrate on becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings, and you can change how you decide to respond. How you respond to the situation is up to you. The more you're aware of yourself and your feelings, the better decisions you will likely make. We'll cover this in detail in the Anger Journal section. Remember, experiencing angry feelings is not the problem. It's how you choose to respond to that anger that can be the problem. Only you are in control and responsible for how you react to these feelings. Becoming aware of angry feelings is only part of the equation. Your body will also give you signs that you're beginning to become angry. Below are some examples of these signals. Becoming tense. You may feel your body stiffen or tighten up. Sweating. You may begin either slightly or profusely releasing sweat. Headache. You may develop a minor or major headache. Heart rate. Your heart rate may increase noticeably. Feeling flush. You might feel lightheaded or dizzy. These and other physical symptoms may give you cues that angry feelings are beginning to build up and help you become more aware of yourself. Self-awareness techniques. There are several techniques that can be utilized to help one become more aware. Below are some techniques and examples. Take some me time. Intentionally tune out of your responsibilities and stresses. It may be helpful to schedule this me time so that is not something that you pass up intentionally during busy days. The me time can be spent doing whatever you like, such as exercise, sports, reading, a hobby. The idea here is to separate yourself from what is causing you to become stressed or angry and return to the problem feeling renewed. Change your perspective. This technique normally involves changing your setting or surroundings from the ordinary. Try sitting in a different spot than you normally do, or go somewhere you've never seen before or never been. Laugh. Try interacting with people that are humorous and try to find the lighter side of situations. Laughing can have a tremendous positive impact on how you view things and can give you much needed release. Reflect. Take some time to think about how you've reacted to certain situations. You should reflect on interactions that you felt were both positive and negative. This can help you identify what you are proud of and what you can improve. What makes me angry? Different things make different people angry. The answer is usually exclusive to any individual. It can be helpful to identify what your core beliefs are and from what perspective you see the world. Your beliefs and perspective can change over time. However, most angry feelings likely stem from these things. Religious, family, cultural, and moral beliefs can play a significant role in what may make you angry. Approaches to dealing with anger. There are 3 primary approaches when dealing with anger. They are as follows. Suppressing. 1. Suspend or suppress the anger. This is usually done so that one can have some time to process. This can yield several results, such as letting go and forgetting about it, shifting focus to something else entirely, or bottling your anger internally. It is important to note that continually not releasing or dealing with anger can result in physical health problems stemming from something continuing to bother you. This can happen if you're not truly letting something go. Expressing. 2. Express your anger. This involves one expressing anger in a number of different ways. For example, expression could simply be a discussion about why you are angry. However, this could also be yelling, hitting, or other violent behaviors. This type of reaction may be good for you, but not always for others. You may feel better, but anyone else has to deal with your repercussions. 3. Manage your anger. In this type of approach, you are neither suppressing or expressing your anger. First, you're identifying that you are angry, which is normal, and then you make a well thought out decision about how best to respond. I'll be right back. Alright. Managing your anger is the main goal in here. Okay. Understanding violence. Violence occurs when someone is causing harm to someone else through an emotional, verbal, or physical attack. Violence usually escalates along a continuum of behaviors. An example of a violence continuum is laid out and described below. Showing discourtesies, disrespect. Yelling, name-calling, physical presence, grabbing, pushing, physical aggression. Physical aggression being the worst. Showing discourtesy and disrespect, intentionally not communicating with others by ignoring what they're saying or not responding to them in a respectful manner. Yelling/verbal abuse, raising one's voice or verbally insulting another by using derogatory descriptions or name-calling. Physical presence, utilizing one's body to intimidate or create a path of resistance or intentional barrier, such as blocking a doorway. Grabbing or pushing, forcefully touching another in a manner meant to intimidate or restrict movement, or utilizing physical movements to shove. Physical aggression, inflicting physical harm on a person or causing damage to surroundings or objects. Characteristics of people with anger problems. Below are common characteristics of those with anger problems. Analyzing yourself and asking others if they believe you exhibit these characteristics may help if you can identify your areas for improvement. Constantly feeling mad, tense, frustrated, or stressed out. Judgmental of others. Allow others to hurt you physically or emotionally. Vulnerable. Perfectionist, egocentric, selfish, possessive, jealous of others, transferring blame to others, poor communication skills, afraid to share your anger with others, wants to hurt others, wants to or hurts others, abuses drugs and/or alcohol, feeling hopeless, out of control with anger, angry feelings eating you up inside. Which of the above characteristics apply to you? Be right back. Well, anyway. Do multiple characteristics seem to apply? Are you unsure which ones apply to you? If so, Engage others to get their feedback so that you can identify where your issues lie and what you should focus on to improve. Degrees of anger. There are varying degrees or levels of angry feelings. These can range from feeling slight frustration or intense rage. Throughout this program, we'll be using an angry feeling scale to help in identifying varying levels of anger. You can see this scale below. Level of feeling, actual feeling. Frustrated, annoyed, angry, very angry, enraged. Give me a moment. Okay. And we're back, I hope. Christ. Anyway, that's all good. Frustration is a feeling, level 1 feeling frustrated, of course. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to it. Frustration is a feeling associated with being upset or agitated. This feeling, like all angry feelings, is normally the result of an angry thought. The feeling of frustration can occur when your expectation needs are not being met. Test. Test. Cool. Um. Test. Two. Test. Test. Alright. A feeling of frustration can occur when your expectations, wants, or needs are not being met. This is considered a mild level of feeling on the scale and usually does not result in changes in behavior. This can be a fairly common feeling of anger if you're experiencing stress and or anxiety. Anyway, this is level 2 feeling annoyed. Feeling annoyed can be categorized as beginning to have real feelings commonly associated with anger. You may begin. What the hell? You may begin to start reacting to people and things around you in a negative way. If you're considering shit. However, your decision-making skills may remain intact and you are likely in control of a reaction to situations. Level 3 feeling angry. Others are starting to notice that you are not yourself. You are feeling mad about something or someone and you are just starting to not be able to make good decisions. Things may easily set you off. You may try to hide how you're truly feeling, even though this doesn't may be shit. Even though this may be obvious to others. Level 4, feeling very angry. You're becoming unreasonable and will likely take some action, which can include emotionally or physically hurting others. Verbal abuse, including yelling and name-calling, is a common reaction to this level of angry feeling. Level 5, feeling enraged. You have stopped thinking rationally and are focused only on taking action to stop the angry feelings. You are likely a danger to those around you, including yourself. Rage is the most extreme expression of anger. Growth Central, a leader in anger management education, subcategorizes rage into 5 types. Oh, fuck, I'm just over my words. Survival rage. This type of rage occurs during situations such as domestic violence and invasion. Abandonment rage. This type of rage occurs when you are becoming separated from another. Impotent rage. This type of rage occurs when one feels like they don't have any control. Shame rage. This type of rage occurs when one feels disrespected. Seething rage. This can be the most dangerous type of rage and is commonly seen with mass shootings and when one feels isolated and or marginalized. Assessing your level of anger. Determining your level of anger can be a very healthy and necessary exercise for those dealing with anger issues. There we go. Assigning a level of anger to feelings can help you to analyze what has occurred in the past. This can lead to identification of how you are feeling the next time anger is experienced. The ability to do this when the key is managing your anger, it is nearly impossible to eliminate angry feelings. However, responding thoughtfully to your angry feelings is key. Take 10 minutes and write down specific circumstances in your life which has led to angry feelings, if possible. Provide at least one example of each level of anger. Okay. Just give me a blank one. I don't give a hoot about all this. Nice. Give me a text box or two. Okay. 10 minutes, one example for each level of anger. So, frustrated. Being left with my son while my partner had to drive her siblings to work, to school, while I just got out of surgery and had to take care of baby boy. Annoyed. Having to deal with crackhead neighbors and yeah, we'll just, there we go. Angry. So let's go with when someone busted my window to steal from me, or when my guitar was stolen. There we go. Very angry, when I felt like I was being abandoned. Enraged. Coming down from withdrawals. There we go. Once you've completed this activity, click the next button. Tracking your anger. The most important tool used by almost all anger management programs is an anger journal. Keeping an anger journal can help you identify and reflect on how you are responding to anger. This tool will help you focus on yourself rather than others. It will also help you further understand the difference between feelings and reactions. Anger always stems from a feeling that you can choose how to respond to that feeling. Utilizing an anger journal to track reactions is similar to how someone wanting to create a financial budget may track income and spending to understand how and why money is being received and spent. Keeping an anger journal. By keeping an anger journal, you will track when an event occurs. Let's do that. Keep. When tracking an event, you'll want to record the date that the event occurred for reference. You'll also want to describe the situation in as much detail as you can. For example, the situation may be my friend promised to pick me up from work at 5 o'clock and did not show up until 5:45. This should simply describe the circumstance. You will elaborate and describe your angry feelings. For example, you may write, "My friend does not care about me and only cares about herself," for your angry feeling stemming from the event. 1 second. Next, you will need to attempt to measure your level of feelings that were provoked. We will use the same angry feeling scale we learned about from the previous section to record these measurements in number form. The scale will be from 1 to 5, and 1 being frustration and 5 being extreme anger. Cool. Just gonna take this. Shablam. Nice. Recording your level of angry feelings will help you be aware of how the event has made you feel and what will lead the way to how you may decide to react. Remember that it is okay to feel angry. Your reaction. Ultimately, others will see your anger culminate only as the behavior. Oh no. So logging how your thoughts and how they made you feel and how you behaved will help you better understand what type of process should be followed in your mind so that a potential immediate reaction can instead be a contemplated response. To complete a journal entry, you will need to attempt to measure your level of reaction. We will use an angry behavior scale to record these measurements in number form. The scale will be from 1 to 5, with 1 being frustration and 5 being extreme anger. Angry behavior scale, level of behavior and actual behavior. 1, intentionally silent. 2, yelling or name calling. 3, presence. 4, grabbing or pushing. 5, physical destruction. Recording your level of angry behavior will help you be aware of how your angry thoughts and feelings showed to others. Anger journal example. So this is how it can be done. This is a personal growth exercise. You are not required to submit a copy of your anger journal, but this is what we can do for the worksheet. This activity should have helped you begin or improve your ability to become aware of circumstances that have led to angry feelings and how you reacted. As you are taking this journey and attempting to better manage your anger, it is recommended that you regularly utilize an anger journal and reflect on your entries. Though the honest use of this log, you should eventually and more quickly be able to wisely react to angry feelings. The importance of keeping a journal. Most anger management specialists agree that overcoming anger problems is nearly impossible without going through the process of keeping a journal. It is important to document not only what you believe to be good responses to anger, but also bad reactions. Your journal is a private place where you can document what has occurred and then later review it once you have calmed down. It is also important to mention that you do not have to document events when they actually happen, though it is recommended that you complete your entry fairly soon after. If you're unable to document any angry feelings and your response to those feelings, then you are likely not being honest with yourself. All of us feel angry from time to time. When reading entries at a later time, it is important to reflect on how you responded and think through how you may do things differently the next time. This process of evaluating your reactions to angry feelings is essential to improving to how you manage your anger. Thinking. We've all learned how to think from our upbringing and our surroundings. Our thought process is developed with the help of our parents and guardians, friends, family, teachers, mentors, our surroundings, and society as a whole. Each of these influencers have helped us to shape the way we think about the world, ourselves, and others today. It is likely that you have never considered that the way you think is potentially damaging and certainly not dysfunctional, but this very may well be the case. In this section of the program, we will explore different types of dysfunctional thinking along with the healthy alternative. It will take some serious effort to honestly look at the way that you think is dysfunctional. All or nothing dysfunction. All or nothing thinking. It's dysfunctional thinking. With this type of method, you may see things as only good or bad or black or white. An example of this may be, my job sucks. Sure, our jobs may seem undesirable at times, but there are reasons we go to work each day. We get paid, we feel needed, we use our skills, etc. Healthy alternative. Rather than viewing things as all or nothing, it is much more useful, to look at things from more global perspective. It is okay for certain things to not be black or white, but be gray instead. Overgeneralization. Overgeneralization dysfunctional thinking is similar to all or nothing, in that you may think in absolute terms. However, in this type of thinking, you may come to a premature conclusion based on limited experiences or information. For example, you may have a rude interaction with a male and come to conclude that all males are jerks. Healthy alternative. Instead of coming to quick conclusions, it is recommended that you allow yourself to gather more than just initial information before forming a conclusion. It is also helpful to consider that the fact that your opinions or thoughts about someone or something may evolve over time. Mind-reading dysfunctional thinking. With this type of thinking, you may believe exactly what someone thinks without receiving any information from the party in question. You may also expect others to know what you're thinking or want without communicating it. Healthy alternative. Before coming to a conclusion about what someone believes, ask him or her. Don't assume you know what someone else is thinking or that they know what you're thinking. Catastrophizing. This is thinking that is quite extreme. You always expect things to turn out horribly catastrophic. For example, if you are scared about being on a plane, you may think that you are going to actually die if you get on the plane. Healthy alternative. Rather than thinking about the worst of a potential situation, thoroughly analyze what may occur, including realistic and positive outcomes. So it's more so just thinking about the realism. Chain reaction, dysfunctional thinking. This is similar to catastrophizing thinking. This is similar to catastrophizing thinking, but instead one bad thing leads to a progressively worse result. For example, you may think that not passing a test will lead to failing a class, which will lead to being kicked out of school, which will finally lead you not being able to get a decent job. Healthy alternative: instead of thinking in this manner, try focusing on only one thing at a time. Just because one bad thing happens doesn't mean that another will. What ifs? What ifs dysfunctional thinking. With this type of thinking, you may only ask questions to yourself about things that could happen in the future. These are usually questions that will result in answers you won't be happy with. Healthy alternative: don't pose such questions on yourself. Instead, focus on what is actually happening. Sometimes dealing with that is hard enough. Shoulds dysfunctional thinking. This thinking style applies when you believe that you and everyone else should behave in a certain manner. Shoulds can force us to dwell on the past and not the present. Healthy alternative: first of all, try not to focus on what others should do. Also, focusing on what you should have done when it is already in the past will not do any good. Instead, focus on the present. Filtering. Filtering dysfunctional thinking. This type of style of thinking causes you to filter out and then focus on negative details, while completely ignoring positive elements. Healthy alternative: focus on the positive stuff too. It's okay to identify the negative things as long as those aren't the only things you dwell on. Maximizing and minimizing. Maximizing and minimizing is dysfunctional thinking. But for this type of thinking, it results in you blowing up your problems and significantly reducing positive qualities all at once. Healthy alternative: try to weigh the positives and negatives equally. Beating yourself up by focusing on the negatives can have devastating results and easily lead to anger. Blaming. It's dysfunctional thinking. This can occur when you blame yourself for something that is completely out of your control. Healthy alternative: you can certainly only control what you can control. A common religious saying illustrates this perfectly. God grant me to serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Jumping to conclusion. With this type of thinking, you may make illogical assumptions just because you believe something led to something else. For example, you may believe that John crashed his car into your car because the two of you had a fight earlier, when the two may be totally unrelated. Healthy alternative: rather than jumping to conclusions, try to check out and confirm your assumptions. They may be sometimes accurate, but surely not always. Always right dysfunctional thinking. In this style, you have a hard time believing that you could possibly be wrong regardless of the circumstances. You may exhibit a great deal of effort to prove that someone else is wrong, just so that you appear correct even if you are in fact wrong. Healthy alternative: come to the grips with the fact that you are not always right. Try processing the potential that you may be wrong when discussing things with others. This concept may be uncomfortable at first, but will yield great results when working with others, especially for close relationships. Review of thinking styles. We have now reviewed a number of dysfunctional behavior styles and corresponding healthy alternatives. While reading through some of these dysfunctional thinking styles, you may have cringed because you related to it. Let's take 10 minutes to review these styles again. Write down the styles that you can relate to and one or two examples of when you may have used that particular thinking style. Then, write out how you could have better thought of a circumstance. What? Write out how you could have better thought of a circumstance. Oh, okay. It is important that you understand and self-analyze to determine if any of these thinking styles apply to you. If so, you could be taking a huge step in managing your anger. Relaxation and mindfulness. In many situations, we can lead ourselves towards angry thoughts and feelings and away from positive thoughts and responses. Simple meditative and relaxation techniques can help us bring us to a much calmer state. These exercises can be utilized. These exercises can be utilized before feelings of stress, anxiety, or anger and can be used in response to situations that result in these emotions. These techniques have been shown to improve mindfulness and create feelings of harmony and calmness, allowing one to better manage anger and respond appropriately to angry feelings. Relaxation techniques. On the following pages, we will try some self-soothing meditative techniques. If you have never tried these types of relaxation techniques before, they may seem silly or cheesy. However, if you give them a genuine try, you will likely find that you can have a remarkable impact on your ability to remain calm and respond better to stress, anxiety, and anger. The goal is to create an awareness of yourself and your surroundings and shift your focus away from your angry feelings. Reaching a meditative or relaxed state involves focusing your attention on one thing like an activity or an object. You are basically training yourself to be aware of yourself and your surroundings. In addition to reducing stress and anxiety and ultimately angry feelings, creating this state of mindfulness should result in an improved ability to observe what's around you and should allow you to let go of most everything, including negative thoughts of others. Deep breathing activity, 5 minutes. You will now take 5 minutes and try one such meditative technique. Please follow the steps below. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out while concentrating on the airflow going in and out of your nostrils. Okay, so try with me. Just breathe normally and just be aware of the air flowing through in and out of your nostrils. Do not breathe through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. Through the nose. Except for talking. I had my eyes open, now they're closed. Okay. Breathe. There we go. Did this work? It made me feel sleepy. We have smoke here. By concentrating on just breathing the air flowing in and out of your nose, you may have been able to feel a sense of calmness. I did. This may have made you feel sleepy. I did. Relaxed or peaceful. This exercise can do wonders for calming you down when you're beginning to have angry thoughts. If you found it difficult to stop your mind from racing, this is completely normal. Hit the previous button and try it again. It takes practice. Deliberate walking activity. Let's try another technique. Take 10 minutes and follow these steps. Stand up, face forward, focus on the bottom of your feet. Walk 20 steps while concentrating on the feeling on the bottom of your feet. Turn around. Walk another 20 steps while concentrating on the feeling on the bottom of your feet. Repeat as necessary. So it's just deliberate walking, which this is exactly what I do every day, deliberate walking, because I have mobility problems. So it's not that I don't ever do this. I do it every day. But this time I'll do it with purpose. There was a purpose. Did this work? Did it create a sense of harmony? This is a great activity and can be done almost anywhere without others knowing that you're engaging in a relaxation technique. A walk down the hall, down the street, or in a stairwell should all work. Not all techniques work the same for everyone. However, this approach is fairly helpful to most. Advanced soft belly exercise. Sit down in a chair, cross your legs, and sit back comfortably. Recognize how your body feels to be sitting, your legs and back against the chair. Close your eyes. Begin to breathe in and out through the nose and then through the mouth. And then through the nose and then out through the mouth. Okay. It actually just says in through the nose and out through the mouth. Imagine your diaphragm and okay. Imagine your diaphragm and pay attention to how it rises and falls with your breath. Allow your belly to be and feel soft. If necessary, place your hand on your diaphragm to better feel its motion as you breathe. Think about how relaxed you feel. Bring your attention back to how soft your belly feels as you breathe. Notice any tension in your body and allow your breath to go to that place and remove the tension. Take 15 minutes with this. Were you able to release tension in your body once you reached the last step of the exercise? This activity has been shown very effective in creating a real sense of calm. If this exercise did not work as intended, please try again. More relaxation techniques. When you experience an angry thought that results in angry feelings, try to utilize these exercises. Below are some techniques that may also work. Body relaxation. Breathing from the diaphragm and bring your attention fully from one part of your body to another until your entire body feels relaxed. Meditation. Breathe while focusing on one object and nothing else. 3. Focus on positive feelings. Focus on feelings like love, gratitude, and happiness. 4. Focus on sounds. Focus on a sound nearest you and then gradually on sounds farthest away. 5. Take a calming shower or bath. Memorize and internally recite a calming statement or poem. Take a time out. Try decreasing your anger by removing yourself from a situation by changing your environment. Something as taking a walk, listening to music, and or exercising can be effective. Optimism. Optimism is an easy concept to understand. Have a positive outlook on your circumstances. You have certainly heard the question before, is the glass half empty or half full? Well, you're approaching the glass, and as half full could make a big difference in how often you experience angry thoughts and the potential angry reactions we are trying to eliminate or modify. People tend to have a positive perspective rather than a negative one, and may be able to better respond to situations. Generally speaking, positive thinking accompanies optimism. Positive thinking can lead to stress and fewer angry thoughts. Ignore the bad stuff. So, should you just ignore the bad stuff that happens and act like everything is okay? Well, absolutely not. It is important not to sweep the bad things under the rug. However, approaching these bad situations with a good attitude as opposed to a bad one will allow you to react in a more positive and productive way. This may also help prevent you from jumping to a negative conclusion about what may happen next. Self-talk. You may be asking yourself, how do I become more positive? Well, this must come from within. Experts refer to self-talk as the thoughts that are constantly going through our heads throughout the day. Concentrate on your thoughts and try to keep them positive. The more negative your self-talk, the more likely you will act pessimistically, increasing your chances of reacting in an angry fashion. The more positive your self-talk, the more likely you will respond more positively and appropriately to bad and good situations. Self-talk exercise. Let's take some time practicing self-talk by following these steps. 1. Become aware of your internal thoughts or self-talk. 2. Set a timer for 120 seconds. 3. Close your eyes. 4. Try to think only positive thoughts for the next 2 minutes. Did you find it hard to have nothing but positive thoughts? Did 2 minutes seem like a lot of time? Do you think this exercise could be put into place to generate positive thoughts and self-talk during a normal day? Thinking the best of others. Having positive views of others is a very positive way and powerful way to change how you respond to certain situations. When we encounter bad or difficult situations brought on by others, it is easy to rush into judgment and even believe that the other party did things intentionally or acted maliciously. Instead, give others the benefit of the doubt. This can often be helpful, even if the other person involved was intentionally acting in a malevolent fashion. Being empathetic to others is the key. On the next several pages, we will discuss empathy and how this can alter your potential responses for the better. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to recognize emotions being experienced by another. This allows you to share in how someone else may be feeling or what they may be thinking. Empathy involves being able to experience others' feelings without needing to be given a detailed and thorough description about how the other party is undergoing something. Cognitive empathy, or theory of mind, is the capacity to comprehend someone else's mental state. This is conscious analysis. This is conscious analysis of what you believe to be going through someone else's mind at a given time. This type of empathy allows one to spontaneously take on someone else's psychological perspective, whether that person is real or fictional. Emotional empathy. Emotional empathy is the ability to respond appropriately to someone else's thoughts and feelings. This type of empathy goes beyond simply understanding how someone feels and results in an emotional response that someone else is seeking or expects. Emotional empathy may result in an outpour of sympathy or compassion for others. However, this empathy can lead to feelings of discomfort and anxiety. Empathy and compassion. So, as you can see, empathy can lead to feelings of sympathy and compassion for others. These feelings can help you consider another's perspective so that you are focused on more than just yourself. This compassion can be a powerful tool in helping to limit angry feelings when faced with certain situations. Empathy and anger. It all comes down to this. Empathizing with others can lead to less angry feelings. Several studies have concluded that the better one's ability to understand someone else's perspective, the less angry one is in response to a provocation. Basically, this means that if you know how someone else is feeling, you are less likely to respond in an angry fashion if they or others involved were to provoke you. Effective communication. Much of the angry feelings we experience can stem from poor communication or could have at least be reduced through effective communication. This can include things we have said or have not said, or the way we've said things. Almost all relationships, whether professional or personal, are built upon communication. Therefore, effective communication is the key to successful relationships. In this section, we will present some strategies on how more effective communication can be achieved. Assertive communication. Use assertive communication strategies. It is important to express how you feel. Do this by stating clearly what you want or what you want to communicate. Be honest. If you do not share your feelings, it can lead to extreme frustration, which may sometimes be avoidable. You must carefully consider how your communication will be interpreted and keep in mind that sometimes how you deliver your message may be more important than the message itself. Also, you must demonstrate good and attentive listening behavior. If you want someone to listen to what you are saying, then you must show that you are doing the same. Express yourself. Do not keep your feelings bottled up because you don't want to upset someone, especially if it's important to you. Keeping these things inside can be more dangerous in the end. If it's an important conversation, then rehearsing the interaction may be helpful. Eye contact and body language are also essential. Attempt to keep your emotions in check during the discussion and stick to the topic at hand. Emotions can get in the way of delivering your message and will likely cause the other party to shut down and not participate, or worse, get angry. Being relaxed when delivering your message is essential. Remember that it is difficult to be angry or anxious and relaxed at the same time. Therefore, relaxation techniques like those we've discussed earlier in the course may help you to relay your message more effectively. Body language. Body language is a key of effective communication. Body language includes gestures, movements, and facial expressions. Body language is sometimes referred to as nonverbal communication. This is a good way to think of it. It is how you are communicating without the use of words. Have you ever listened to someone and didn't believe a word they were saying, or received a mixed signal, or noticed how differently something someone said had seemed different from when it's in written form? That's because of ineffective nonverbal communication. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Using body language as part of your strategy for effectively communicating can help you to connect meaningfully with others and make certain you are expressing exactly what you would like relayed. This can also help you to improve relations with others. It isn't easy to concentrate and be aware of your body language while you're communicating with others. It takes practice and professional attention. Body language strategies. First and foremost, be yourself. Acting unnatural when trying to implement these strategies can have a worse impact than not trying to improve these things at all. Don't force it. Using body language techniques that make you feel strange and will surely show the recipient of your message. It is also a good idea to show how your body language looks. You can do this by speaking into a mirror. By doing this regularly, you should also be able to identify what it looks like when experiencing different emotions, such as anxiety, anger, and joy. Gestures are a key part of body language. Gestures can also include a thumbs up, OK sign, open hands, closed hands, arms, etc. Use appropriate gestures to emphasize important points or to get the attention of the recipient. You will want to make sure the gestures you choose to use are not threatening or too frequent, as this can distract others away from the discussion. It is also a good idea to acknowledge others through slight gesturing that when you notice that they are listening to you. Others will show you that they are listening by responding to what you're saying or through small gestures, head nods, shaking, reciprocal movements, etc. Facial expressions can be particularly effective in getting how you're feeling across to your audience. Focus on showing awareness through the use of soft and gentle facial expressions. Facial expressions that show negativity like a frown, a scrunched up forehead, or raised eyebrows should be avoided. Utilize general guidelines for good posture. Keep your shoulders raised and sit straight up, or stand straight up. Nervous habits like touching your face, biting your nails should be avoided. How we speak. How we are actually speaking words can make a big difference in how others hear our message. The tone that we utilize when communicating often says more than the words themselves. The tone that we use relays how we're feeling about how we're saying. It is also possible to say the exact same words in various ways, which result in a variety of interpretations. It is also important to know that when someone hears in another's tone, it is almost always accurate. Tone is rarely misinterpreted. This can also be very helpful when listening to how others are responding to you. If someone is responding to you in a negative fashion and you are unsure as to why, take some time to consider that tone you may have used, and if this leads to this type of reaction. Sometimes this isn't spelled right. Okay, volume is understood as the loudness of how you're speaking to someone else. Volume can range from a whisper to screaming and yelling. After tone, this is one of the most important elements of verbal communication. Have you ever given up on a conversation because someone was yelling at you? Loud volume can lead us to shut down and tune out conversations, or may even cause us to become defensive or behave aggressive when responding. We'll try to utilize a volume loud enough so that the recipient can hear you, but not too loud as to intimidate or distract the person away from the message you are trying to deliver. Effective communication strategies. Speaking. When speaking, establish and communicate eye contact. Make sure your verbal and nonverbal communications are aligned. Be honest and direct. Request feedback and solicit a response. When listening, face the person who is speaking and make eye contact. Show you are hearing what he or she is saying. This can be done by nodding or verbally acknowledging that you are hearing or what you are hearing. Repeat back what you heard. This will help confirm that the message you have received is what he or she was attempting to relay. Ask questions to better understand or clarify what was said. Listening versus responding. We've just covered some proven strategies for listening. In many conversations, the speaker may simply want to voice something and may not be interested in hearing the potential solution from you, the listener. It is also a good idea to follow the recommendations laid out on the previous page and only present solutions to the speaker's problems when they are directly solicited. Instead, utilize phrases which show you hear what the speaker is saying, along with the statements relaying empathy or sympathy for what the speaker is experiencing. Communication exercise. You as a mirror. Think of a conversation you've been wanting to have with someone. The more difficult you believe the conversation will be, the better. Now, stand or sit in front of a mirror and begin the conversation with yourself. Note, you will need to role play as if you are the other party. Take 15 minutes or longer to complete this exercise. What do you notice about yourself when speaking into the mirror? Did the way you looked while speaking catch you by surprise? What will you change when actually having this conversation? Words or body language? Communication exercise using video. Think of a conversation you've been wanting to have with someone. After getting the other party's permission, videotape it. After the conversation is over, watch the tape by yourself. What did you notice about yourself when speaking? Tone of voice? Volume? Did the way you looked while speaking catch you by surprise? What will you change when actually having this conversation? Words, body language? Now watch the video with another participant and ask for feedback. Anger and conflict. Conflict is defined as coming into collision or disagreement. So basically, conflicts when one disagrees or opposes another. When one experiences conflict, it is commonly accompanied with a variety of emotions, including anger. Conflict is all around us and can be witnessed at home and in the media. Conflict is normal. As with anger, conflict is common and will occur with any healthy relationship. No two people have the two same opinions and beliefs, so conflict is unavoidable. Resolving conflict for all. Resolving conflict for all. This can be difficult. We defined conflict earlier as a disagreement of some sort. The desire to resolve the conflict must come from within. Though hard, one must focus on creating a solution for all involved. This type of approach requires that one understand the other's needs and their perspective. This is written in a different language. It will also be important to recognize your individual differences. Understanding these differences is essential to finding a solution agreeable to all parties. One must also be open to changing one's position or opinion based on what information is shared. Focus on the problem, not the person. Turn solutions into problems. Turn problems into solutions. After you've decided to focus on the problem at hand rather than the person, it is now time to change your point of view. Focus on what can be done to solve the problem at hand rather than focus on how bad the problem is. You will likely feel better about the situation after you've decided to make the best of things and work towards a mutually agreeable solution. Here's the deal. There are no winners or losers with this approach, so this means that you cannot focus on who is wrong or who is right. Instead, view each issue as a challenge, not unlike a crossword or jigsaw puzzle. Work on it long enough together and you can put together a resolution. The process of learning how to find the solution is about learning. Learning about how to deal with this problem, the problems that will present themselves after, will lead to success in dealing with this. And problems that will lead. Learning how to deal with this problem and problems that will present themselves after will lead to success in dealing with conflict resolution. Conflict and empathy. Empathy is identifying with the feelings, thoughts, or attitudes of another. Using empathy during times of conflict can help one to develop an openness with another, which can help the conflict subside. Empathy allows all parties to consider how others are feeling about something and what their needs may be. Showing empathy requires active listening, which helps the other party feel like they're being understood. An example of empathetic statements include, "I'm so sorry that happened. I'm sorry to hear that. I understand you're feeling that right now. I understand this may be frustrating. You must be feeling very frustrated. I can see why you're frustrated. I understand why this makes you feel upset. The point of using empathetic statements is to acknowledge the other party's feelings and relay that you understand why or how they're feeling. By doing this, you're not necessarily agreeing with their viewpoint or their opinion, but instead validating their feelings. This can help ease tensions and resolve conflict, allowing a healthy conversation to begin. It seems odd that one recommendation to resolve conflict is to be assertive. Most people associate assertiveness with aggression and conflict, but when assertiveness is utilized appropriately, it can actually help to resolve conflict. The main goal of being assertive is not to be polite, but instead is clearly to state your opinion without creating a defensive reaction from the other party. This can also be achieved by using what are called I statements. This is where you talk about how you feel about a particular situation. Examples include, when this happens, I feel. I do not like it when. I would prefer if. The way I see it. These types of statements will not fix the problem or result in immediate agreement on a particular topic. They're simply meant to be a way to begin a healthy and meaningful conversation about something. They're also a way for you to express how you feel about a certain circumstance. Positive possibilities. All parties will need to work towards positive possibilities to resolve the conflict at hand. This involves positively reframing discussions that are heading in a negative direction. Instead of "this won't work," say "how could this work?" Instead of "this is the only way," say how else could this work? Instead of "this is a disaster," say "how could we make this better?" You may have noticed that the above negative statements did not meet opportunities or create opportunities for conversation. However, when turned into an open-ended question, it solicits involvement from all parties. You are basically creating a puzzle, and the answers may have positive results. You will see the power of this approach when put into practice. Willingness to resolve. You should ask yourself, why is this situation making me angry? And why am I willing to try and resolve the situation? For a situation to be resolved, all parties must be willing to give something up when negotiating or problem-solving a potential solution. If you are unwilling to be open-minded when considering someone else's perspective, or are unwilling to concede even on minor items, then resolution may be unlikely. Ask yourself these questions when evaluating options with all parties. Did we identify a common ground? Did we identify or discuss creative options? Did we clearly agree on a potential approach? Is the resolution win-win for all parties involved? Does the resolution meet all parties' needs? So, what is being mindful? Being mindful is intentionally paying attention. It seems like a simple enough concept, but we are not built to pay such close attention to things and then be mindful of our actions. When attempting to manage anger, being aware of what is happening is not enough. We must be mindful about how we decide to respond. Mindfulness example: have you ever read a book or for a few pages and realize you have no idea what you just read? Or maybe you read the same paragraph several times without comprehending any of it? That would be a great example of not being mindful. Alternatively, if you are not paying closer attention, or alternatively, if you are paying closer attention, you may be able to follow the story and tie what you're reading into plot lines and reference the information later in the story. Being actively mindful. The key element of being mindful is continuing to do so actively. This requires that you focus on one thought, and then the next, and then the next. This is what is meant by being actively mindful. Losing the step-by-step focus will lead to an inability to remain mindful and you will ultimately lose focus. Intention and mindfulness. One is not mindful simply for the sake of being mindful. Being mindful normally originates for a specific reason. This reason is known as intent. Focus will be easier once you have a goal in mind. So if your intent is to be empathetic, then your mind will be focused most on trying to understand others and relate to them. For all else, from moment to moment. Take 5 minutes and write down some examples of what you could consider as intention. So, driving, you intend to drive positive, better, interacting with your son. You want to, be more positive. When you have written out your intentions, click the next button below. Was it hard to think of an intention and put it in writing? Pick one of your intentions and put it into practice. Underline or highlight your main intention and focus on carrying this out for a full day. You will find that focusing directly on your intent will make it more possible. You may find it challenging, especially when your mind wanders. Like everything else, practice makes perfect. So, living in the moment. One of the main purposes of practicing mindfulness is to learn how to live in the moment and in a healthy way. If you feel yourself getting angry, and if you're practicing mindfulness, you may be able to respond in an appropriate way by basically running through the real-time anger journal entry. If you can focus on your intent, you can respond that way. That complements what you're focused on. You can also identify when you need to take a time out to calm down and then return to the situation when you feel you can respond well to the situation. Taking a time out. Timeouts are often associated with misbehaving children. Parents often utilize timeouts as a strategy for disciplining children. And timeouts can be used to self-address situations when you feel angry feelings and thoughts develop. So use a timeout when you feel angry feelings and think angry thoughts. There are varying levels of timeouts. For example, you may feel it necessary to completely changing settings by going to another room or by stepping outside. In other cases, you may just need to close your eyes for several moments to take some deep breaths. Using these easy strategies for removing yourself from a situation or taking a quick breather can help you to respond to anger and express yourself well. Resources. This section contains information for various public and private entities that may be good. Okay. Next. 211. It provides free and confidential information and referrals for help, housing, employment, and they can visit their website about your local 211 in the U.S. Mental Help, APA. The mission of the APA is to advance the creation, communication, application of psychological knowledge and benefit society and improve people's lives. mentalhealth.gov, National Institute of Mental Health, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Let's go on. Substance and Alcohol Abuse Help, Alcohol Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Substance Abuse, SAMHSA again. Violence Help, 911. National Child Abuse Hotline, Safe Horizon, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, U.S. Department of Justice. Managing anger every day. We've covered a lot of material in this program. Now it's time to put it into practice and change how we live. Remember, there's no easy way to fix anger or change our behavior. There's no quick fix or shortcut. Identifying your anger and then responding appropriately takes a great deal of effort that never stops. In this section, we're going to provide a review and an expansion on solutions you may be able to utilize to manage your anger and hopefully feel better about yourself and improve your relationships. So we learned about 3 primary approaches when dealing with anger. They're as follows: suppressing, expressing, and managing. You already know that expressing your anger can result in major issues for you and those you care about. And suppressing your anger can cause feelings to boil over. Always go with number 3. Respond, don't react. It's easy to have a reaction to a situation that begins with angry thoughts and feelings. What is difficult and necessary is to identify your angry thoughts and feelings and then decide how you will respond, rather than react. You are in control of how you respond. Think back to the anger journal exercise. I'm pretty sure if you were able to identify the angry feelings during the situations that occurred, you could have improved the final result or behavior. It is essential that the circumstance which caused the anger be segmented into the items from the anger journal. Date, event, thought, feelings, behavior. This is where you have the opportunity to be the response rather than a reaction. Out. Before responding, consider your goals and how they fit into this particular situation, the big picture, consequences of your actions, and the response options. Be aware. Become aware of how you're feeling and what you are thinking when an angry event occurs. Awareness is the key to managing your anger. Take some time away from the situation. If angry, determine if it's necessary, what you may need to do, and if it's okay. Identify your angry thoughts so you know where your anger stems from. Remember that angry thoughts may lead to physical reactions such as stiffness, headaches, sweating, increased heartbeat, etc. Measure your level of angry feelings and then respond. Relax. Relaxing can be key in bringing thoughts and feelings from negative and cynical to more positive and constructive. Utilizing relaxation techniques, like the ones covered in this program, can help to create a relaxed state. Becoming relaxed will also improve your ability to be mindful of your circumstances and how you may be able to decide to respond to these situations. Think positively. Having a positive outlook on your circumstances will allow you to respond better to a variety of situations. Remember not to ignore the bad stuff. The key is to approach these problems with an attitude that's positive. Become aware of your self-talk and concentrate on making it optimistic. Using empathy and compassion when thinking and communicating with others will help you to achieve your anger management goals. Communicate effectively. Use assertive communication strategies. You must carefully consider how your communication will be interpreted, and sometimes how you deliver your message may be more important than the message itself. Do not keep your feelings bottled up because you don't want to upset someone, especially if it's important to you. Keeping these things inside can be more dangerous in the end. If it's an important conversation, then rehearsing the interaction may be helpful. Eye contact and body language are also essential. Attempt to keep your emotions in check during the discussion and stick to the topic at hand. Emotions can get in the way of delivering your message and will likely cause the other party to shut down and not participate, or worse, get angry. Resolve conflict. Keep in mind that conflict cannot be avoided. You will disagree with others, and this will be a normal and healthy thing. At work with others to turn the problems into solutions. Be assertive and use empathy when working towards solutions. Stay positive, be flexible, and decide to use the conflict and resolve the conflict willingly. Wrap up. It is our sincere hope that you've enjoyed this course and will be able to put some of these strategies into practice as you're attempting to manage your anger. Here's to your success. Successful completion of this course requires that you have reviewed all the course content and satisfied the minimum time requirement. Click the next button below to verify both of these requirements have been fulfilled. Well, that was it. Well, what the fuck do we do now? Oh, let's hop into something else. I'm just gonna keep the mouse jiggling around here, and away we go.